First, a dummy engine of wood, of a different shape than a conventional automobile engine, to fit its location in the rear of the car, is built to exact size to check accessibility of parts and ease of service. The fundamentals are finalized, a radical departure from conventional automotive design, thoroughly proved in thousands of light airplanes, what the engineers call a horizontally opposed six-cylinder engine. But it's a long time from wood to precision-made metal, with all the parts made by hand, because they're all new. So time races along before specialists start the painstaking hand fitting of the handmade parts. For here's an automobile engine that breaks with tradition in every way, yet follows the tradition of Chevrolet. An air-cooled aluminum engine for featherweight that requires no radiator, water cooling system, or antifreeze. With iron where iron is needed, steel where steel is needed, with the newest in proved principles and the oldest in fundamentals. And when it all comes together, all the parts and all the pieces, and all the blood, sweat, and thought, and you put it on the dynamometer and fire it up. The dials and the pointers and the needles finally tell you what you have hoped and prayed all the time. You have a winner, a small, compact, 80-horsepower dollop of dynamite, the turbo air engine that purrs like a six-cylinder kitten and pulls like a chesty tomcat. A powder puff would sop up the gas it uses in a mile, and it's as stingy with oil as a dime store medicine dropper.
The supplier of metal makes better use of time and labor by building his plant near the foundry where engines are cast. The costs and the pricings are held down by devising an improved way of doing things more economically. The molten material is carried over the private road, running between supplier and manufacturer. With the metal ready for casting when it arrives, the expense of remelting is gone. The savings are passed on to us, not only in prices held down, but more notably in products that are more and more reliable.
And so, proved to the nth degree, the new engine goes into production in a plant at Tonawanda, New York, to be economically near the huge aluminum plant that will supply the magic metal for this great new engine. In fact, the brand new engine foundry is so near the aluminum plant that it gets its aluminum hot from the furnace, ready to pour. Parts come together now in a stream, and instead of a single engine methodically hand-built, there are now endless hundreds. And where once one body had to be painstakingly hand-assembled, bodies too march down the production line. The body now gets sound-deadening material for the quietest compact car ride on the road. And then, the miracle of modern final assembly, where front suspension and rear-end power unit join body at precisely the right instant. And so, you might say, a car of a lifetime is born, of blue-blooded lineage, into one of the oldest automobile families. A car with everything except high cost and high upkeep. A car stingy with dollars, but extravagant with pep, comfort, ease of handling, and plain old-fashioned fun. And a car whose dealers will be fully stocked with parts, coast to coast, from the very day of its announcement. And a brand new car, proudly wearing a brand new name, rolls out of a brand new plant. Corvair by Chevrolet, the only compact car that had time to be built. The standard Corvair, the deluxe Corvair 700. Corvair, a revolutionary new kind of car for the new kind of driving Americans are doing these days. Corvair, the only car specifically designed from the ground up as a compact car, the most tested car in the compact car world.
Someone else has another like that's different, depending upon who we are, where we live, and where we go from day to day. We differ in our desires as to style.
If General Motors wishes to know why I spent an inordinate amount of time on the Corvair, it is because the Corvair is an inordinately dangerous vehicle.
Ralph Nader said it was unsafe at any speed.
GM's low-priced compact, the Chevrolet Corvair, apparently is worth more dead than alive. It rolled off the assembly line for the last time today and soon will become a high-priced classic for car buffs, just like the Edsel, the Nash, the Packard, the Hudson. Ike Pappas has the story.
When the rear-engine Corvair was first introduced in 1959, you couldn't tell on the highway whether it was coming or going. Well, now it's definitely going right out of production. With the construction of this last car today, the model was declared dead by General Motors after a controversial career on the American roadways. The first Corvair rolled off the production line at Chevrolet's Willow Run plant July 5th, 1959. Since then, 1,710,000 of the cars have been turned out. The model has been alternately damned and defended by owners. General Motors gives as a cause for the Corvair's demise a lack of consumer interest, plus a desire to make way for a new mini-model Chevrolet to be introduced next year. But within the industry, it is felt that the severe criticism of the car as unsafe by consumer watchdog Ralph Nader sharply reduced sales in recent years until it was unprofitable for General Motors to keep the Corvair alive. Oddly, as the discontinuance of the production was announced, the Corvair suddenly seemed to gain new prominence, and some owners are already willing to cast it as a rare car. This very last Corvair is definitely not for sale. General Motors will hold on to it, perhaps waiting for the day when, like the old Edsel, people start making jokes about it, and it becomes a classic. Ike Pappas, CBS News at Willow Run.